Hey everyone, welcome to Friday's Virtual Networkers. My cat's here to join us, and I'm going to be back when everybody joins us too. All right, we are recording, ladies. Welcome to Friday's Virtual Networkers on this 22nd day of January. I am so glad to see you all, and I hope you are ready for an action-packed hour. We will get started first with 30-second introductions. Please keep it to 30 seconds or less, so that we have plenty of time for Sylvia and her presentation. So speaking of Sylvia, you're the first near the top corner of my screen, if you don't mind doing your 30-second introduction to kick us off.
Happy to kick us off. Good morning, ladies. I'm Sylvia, and I'm based in Chicago. I am a sales strategist and a business growth strategist, consultant. And what I do is I help founders and business owners maximize their revenue generating opportunities so they can create the kinds of income and lifestyles and joy that they want for themselves and their families. I also work with large enterprise sales teams. So those folks who are professionally selling into billion-dollar plus enterprises and organizations, and also helping them do the same thing, maximize their revenue generating opportunities.
Awesome. We look forward to your presentation today.
Thank you, Jill.
I will go next, then Laura Templeton. So I know everyone knows me. I'm Jill Celeste, founder of Virtual Networkers, founder of Celestial University, and yes, founder of Tampa Bay Basset Hounds. Why not throw that in the mix as well? I like to find things. And the reason why is because I love to build communities. And I'm just really proud of the community we have here in Virtual Networkers. And I remind everyone to invite your friends, your girlfriends to join us. And if you need more information ever about Virtual Networkers, the web address is virtualnetworkers.biz. So with that, I give it to Laura T, then Judy.
Good morning, Laura Templeton from just outside of Philadelphia and soon to be Bradenton, Florida. Yes, we are moving. Yay! So lots of exciting stuff happening, but I am still focused on helping you and the people that you know who do not like to do the 30-second commercial because they have no clue what to say, find the words that really resonate with their heart and connect with their audience. So if you know someone who's struggling to communicate effectively who they are in 30 seconds or less, I can help them. Schedule a call with me today or share my information at Laura Templeton, Laura at 30secondsuccess.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Laura. Judy, then Suzanne.
I'm Judy Kane, and my business is Aligned Consciousness, and I help people rewrite subconscious, self-limiting beliefs. People come to me for three main reasons. They come either because they have got goals they're not achieving, they've got emotions that are difficult to work through in their life, or they've got physical symptoms of stress, which in my world is just about anything. Judy Kane, Aligned Consciousness.
Thanks, Judy. Suzanne, then Stacy.
Good morning, ladies. I love to connect with independent entrepreneurial women who are feeling that sense of total overwhelm and whack-a-mole, where they are just, everything is coming at them all the time and they don't know what to focus on. Because what I do is I help them focus on 2 to 3 things that are going to help them bring in revenue fastest to their business so that they can get help with all that other stuff. I'm Suzanne Moore, and you can find me at suzannetmoore.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Suzanne. Stacy, then Kelly.
Good morning, ladies. I am Stacy Rowan. Look, I think most of us have been taught that when we show up in public, we look like we have all our stuff together. And the truth is that, especially in the world today, with everything that's been going on the last year or so, most of us have one area of our life that isn't so together and maybe is completely falling apart. And what I do is I work with people to help them put those parts of their life back together. So I am Stacy Rowan. I'm a human design coach, and my business is Custom Built Life.
Awesome. Thanks, Stacy. Kelly, then Rachel.
Good morning. My name is Kelly. I can help with your belly. Digestion, you see, is an art. If out of whack, you may, or experience discomfort or lack key nutrition. But it's my mission to help you pursue wellness for you, wellness for life, because health is wealth. Kelly Lutman, I'm functional medicine health coach. Thank you, Connie. You inspired.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Rachel, then Susan Driscoll.
So entertaining. Hopefully my sound's okay because I'm trying my Christmas gift.
That sounds lovely.
Excellent. Excellent. So I'm Rachel and I'm a website designer and I create websites for spiritual entrepreneurs who want to take their business to the next level and transform it into an online empire, whether that's through a custom designed website or through one of our designer templates, and coming soon, Woo Woo Websites course.
Woo! Congratulations. Awesome. Susan and Mary Beth.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Susan from Toronto. You know, so often as women, we are accustomed to moving mountains for our family, whether that's our kids or our parents, for our business, for the career that we're in. But when it comes to us and something that we want to do, all of a sudden we're filled with self-doubt. I work with women who know they have more to offer the world, and we work on their self-doubt. I help them to see that they can move mountains for themselves, for their own dreams, in alignment with who they are. I'm Susan Driscoll. I'm an intuitive mindset coach, and you can contact me at contact@susan-driscoll.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Susan. Mary Beth and Debbie.
Morning, Mary Beth Decker with sacredgrove.com. Still connecting intuitively with animals. This week I connected in with Milk, a cockatiel, who had a really upset stomach, and we found out that it was because the little Goody and Finch, Mikey, was crying for mom all the time, and it was making Milky have an upset stomach. So we talked to Mikey about what was going on, and I helped with Milky's stomach. So I do stuff like that. Mary Beth Decker, sacredgrove.com, where people and pets heal and connect. Thank you.
Awesome. Love you, Milky.
Love that. Oh.
Debbie and Connie Jo next. Go ahead, Debbie.
Hey everyone, I'm Debbie Keeven, the founder and chief inspiration officer at Highlander Press. Who do you know who says, I want to write a book someday? Someday is now, because the world needs loud women's stories of inspiration and courage and bravery. And today is the day. So at Highlander Press, we grow authors.
Oh,
And I'm in Baltimore.
I love that. Connie Jo and Margaret.
How many of you have or have had a cleaning service for your home? You said yes. You know that feeling of confidence that your house is clean, the sense of relief that you don't have to think about running the vacuum, mopping the floor, cleaning the toilet, the peace of mind because your house is clean. I'm Connie Jo Miller of Enigma Bookkeeping Solutions. That's the feeling you will have when I take care of your books. Peace of mind, a sense of relief, because you know the money part of your business is done. Your books are clean and shiny and lemony fresh.
Margaret, I apologize. I am truly apologizing that you have to go after that. And then Robin.
Who could follow that? I mean, after all. Well, I work with women to help them redesign their life, women in their 50s, 60s, and even 70s. I also help people update their resumes and tell their story in their resume, as well as their LinkedIn profile. Just this week, a speaker colleague of mine, quite successful man whose son's been working for him for the last 6 years, emailed me his information to say, hey, he's now going out on his own. Can you be a referral source for him? Well, I looked at the resume and I thought, this is not what the professional that he really is. So I offered some suggestions, and they received those well. I didn't do any actual editing on it. I just made the suggestions. So it's amazing when you put yourself out there. It's you don't know what you don't know. So send me those referrals and I'll be happy to take care of your friends, your family, and make them shine. Margaret Martin in Dunedin, Florida. You can find me at margaretmartin.com. Thanks.
Thanks, Margaret. Robin, then Laura Clark.
Good morning, ladies. Happy to see all of you. Transitioning to the second phase and becoming an entrepreneur can be overwhelming, but creating a personal brand and successful business does not have to be. I'm Robin Graham, a certified brand strategist and business coach. I save entrepreneurs from the overwhelm and frustration to build a strong foundation for long-term business and brand success. Would you like to have a brand and business that stands out, attracts clients, is profitable, and makes an impact? I'll guide you step by step and hold you accountable for the intentional action to build a business you're dreaming about. No more procrastination, just action, impact, and success. I am Robin Graham, host of the Second Phase podcast, and you can find me at therobingraham.com. And I live just outside of Philadelphia as well as Palm Beach Gardens, Florida.
Yay! Laura, Clark, then Sherry.
Good morning, ladies. Good to be here. It's a good thing to start on the process of de-stressing your desk and delegate. I help support entrepreneurs with handling the day-to-day management of projects, operations, and team members. Together with my team, we synchronize and manage the different aspects of your business while you channel your attention towards growing it. We virtually support your office while you do business. I'm Laura Clark, founder of Chief Executive EA, and I'm located here in Monroe, New York. Great to be here this morning.
Thank you, Laura. Sherry, then Kate.
Good morning, everyone. Has the legal aspect of your business been on the back burner since forever? My name is Sherry Andrews. I am a small business attorney here in Pennsylvania. I work with small businesses, solopreneurs, and creatives to help ensure that their businesses are legally protected and positioned for success. That's Sherry Andrews, your small business attorney at sherryandrews.com. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Sherry. All right, Kate, finish us up.
Take a deep breath in, everyone, and let it go. I got you. I help solopreneurs, healers, coaches to step into the beauty of what they want to create, and to do that through clarity, strategy, and support. Encouragement is one of the most underrated business tactics, and anyone who works with me knows what it feels like to come alongside and have someone with you on the journey. I'm Kate Marness at katemarness.com.
Awesome. Thank you, Kate. Well, ladies, before we start with the speaker, just a reminder, if you haven't done so already, first, last name, and email address in our chat box. I believe Debbie has the biographical honors this morning. So Debbie will introduce our speaker, and then Sylvia, if you could go to about 8:40, I guess it'd be 7:40 your time, and then we'll open it up for questions. Thank you so much.
Here we go. Sylvia Lee is a Windy City, Chicago-based business consultant and advisor with over 15 years of experience in developing high-performing B2B sales strategy, processes, and messaging for professional services firms and businesses. Using brain-based science, Sylvia designs and deploys proprietary frameworks to empower sales and business leaders to lead more effective, high-stakes client interactions that not only generate revenue success, but also enable long-term relationship building and mutual wins. A Johns Hopkins alum, Sylvia also co-leads the discipline of applying goal-oriented play in the workplace to accelerate entrepreneurship, growth, and innovation in Fortune 100 companies. She went to school right next door to where I live. So with that, welcome, Sylvia.
Thank you so much, Debbie, for the invitation to be here this morning. Thank you, Jill, for having me, and good to connect with all of you. So let me go ahead and share my screen. The bio really is just trying to say that my values are fun, success, and relationships. So I probably could have just done that. Yet regardless, what I want to focus on today is offering all of you a couple of tips and tricks, if you will, to up your sales game, AKA more success and hopefully more income and more joy in your business this year. And these are things that I not only share with others, I don't just preach them, I also do them myself. So really welcome as we go along questions, feedback, and I would also invite discussion along the way through the chat box. So be ready to type here and there as I give you ladies the prompts. So I thought about, the topic actually for a couple of weeks. And one of the things I do want to call out is the elephant in the room, right? We're living in the times of COVID, there's a pandemic. And so a lot of people might go, well, Sylvia, sales game, sales tricks and tips and such. So what, right? We just got to keep on going, keep on trucking. And they're not wrong. However, what I want to stress is we who are in business for ourselves or in smaller organizations, we have to do more with less already. And so, COVID just, I think, amplifies some of the opportunities that we have to really tweak and fine tune and right size how we're spending our time and energy and attention and resources. I also do want to point out that the research is pointing to a very positive landscape, at least mindset, if nothing else, amongst us small business owners and founders and entrepreneurs, in that most of us do see, you can see some of the numbers here, most of us do see a path forward, that the economy will turn around, or at least it will not continue to stagnate as we had seen perhaps at the beginning of 2020. So with all that said, I'd love to go ahead and share with you some of the things that I've seen to be really effective in fine tuning, again, and really making you Olympians in the area of revenue generation and helping your business grow. So the first tip is this idea of checking your limiting beliefs and stories about selling. So this one sounds really obvious, yet it's harder to do than one might think, because we can't really see our brains and there's a bias, right? Like we just don't know what's limiting or not until someone points it out to us. It's just a fact otherwise, right? Or it's a story that we have, it's a belief system that we have. Yet for us women, especially those of us who are very empathic, very generous, we're givers, there are a lot of stories around money and selling that I offer to, or I would really encourage all of us to kind of check. And I even have to do this myself on a daily basis, having been in enterprise sales leadership for a decade plus. So these are some things I heard just this year. So like literally since January 1st from people who are both, so again, these are people already selling or they run their own business. They have had success, yet they still say these things. So for example, one that I heard was, I feel like I'm begging when I have to go hunt for business, or somehow I'm a failure for having to go and drive visibility or to ask for more. There's also this notion of like having to ask for more from our friends and family. It feels kind of gross and yucky. I also heard someone recently say, money kind of just gets in the way of good things. So these are all types of limiting beliefs. You might have your own, I certainly have my own, yet I encourage you to really think about what are the things you're telling yourself on a daily basis that might have an impact, right? How can you positively shift those things just even slightly to unlock the momentum and energy and all the brilliance that you have to offer? So for instance, this whole idea of build it and they'll come, right? I was literally asked this by a gentleman, no less, who basically said, I have an awesome product. I have a service that will help, yet I've schlepped this thing up. I, been putting out messaging. I've been, doing videos. I've been putting out content, yet it hasn't quite worked. And what in his mind is happening is he wants to be noticed. He wants to be found, if you will, versus really thinking about how can we, in the initial launch in the charter program, get about, a dozen really solid clients and really cement that client base. So just again, little things like that could make a little bit of difference at the beginning, is seemingly so, but it could actually have an exponential impact going forward. So how do you actually check your limiting beliefs? Say them out loud to somebody. Actually have a mirror in the form of a friend or coach if you have one, or just really test out, are they hyperbolic? So that's an easy one, right? So things like or words like always and never, things that are diametrical or bilateral, if you will. Check to see if you're having any sort of hyperbolic statements in your mind. So we can come back to this as we go. So think about also, as part of your game plan for 2021 to win more and generate more, is to review the ROI of your activity. So the return on your investment of what you put out. So your output should be, or your outcomes in this case, really should be at least commensurate to your input. And ROI in this case is not just hard dollars per se. One thing that I often coach my clients on is your sense of fulfillment and purpose and joy, happiness also could be ROI. So what I mean by that is if there's some things that just don't feel great for you coming out of 2020, assess whether you want to do more or less of that. And so what those areas could look like to really study and assess your ROI. Again, ROI can be time, money, energy, joy, purpose, etc. These are the areas that I see people often feeling some sense of FOMO, right? Fear of missing out around. For example, social media. I had a client come to me at the beginning of the year to say, again, I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook like 3 to 4 hours a day, and I'm not seeing the results. Now, there is a lot to unpack there, yet right off the bat, right? Why spend time on something that is, or spend as much time, I should say, on something that is not generating? So if there's a red flag around the ROI or lack thereof, start to think about what you want to do more or less. It's really about balancing out this portfolio of things that you have to do to engage with your potential ideal clients. So again, think about tweaking this year. So some things, again, might have impacts for you, might drive success for you. We're just not there yet. So it just means that you have to fine tune and tweak and right size, but really start with just assessing like, where is your current state right now? Where has your progress and where has your activity and your plan for activities taken you in terms of progress? So in the chat box, I'd love to hear from a few of you as to what you are thinking about right now, wanting to do more and or less of, depending again, out of these categories. So just write, say for example, fewer sample sessions, but more, thoughtful networking calls. So just love to hear from a couple of you. Okay, I see some patterns here. So, okay, great. And by the way, this is something that I myself had to do as well. So, while the example I gave around social media was pretty drastic, right? 3 to 4 hours and not netting a lot, I myself had also this year tweaked how much I show up and in what manner I show up on social media, especially on LinkedIn. So last year, 2020, I was on LinkedIn. I share content every day, was on it probably a good, hour to 90 minutes a day. And what I found was it wasn't so much just the showing up, it was the behind the scenes connecting, really diving into those conversations, really qualifying and disqualifying, which we'll get to in a moment, certain types of potential clients and thinking about what to do once I am on the phone with these people. So even for me, I had to tweak right away, literally on January 4th, that Monday coming out of the holiday season. So this is something that I'm also practicing, not just preaching. Thanks for the feedback, everybody. So one of the other examples that I do want to give, and this is again, really on the idea of PR and giving. This is a pretty drastic example, but this legit happened last year where I was asked to look at 2 different sellers to go where, what's going on? Like, how come, they literally work in the same territory, yet somehow there seems to be a massive difference. Well, it really did come down to some of those decisions and choices around how to spend their time. So we're talking about like a $65,000 difference after 30 days. So again, this is a very, very drastic example just to punctuate my point here in that our selection of how we spend our time can have incremental and accruing impact. So the third tip that I want to offer today is this idea of get paid more for your client discussion. So again, I think many of us are very generous, we're open-hearted, we're abundant mindset, and all that is wonderful. Yet we just have to think about, in the context of business, how to, again, align that ever better in the service of growing our business and our revenue footprint. Because without income and a sustainable and consistent income source or sources, we wouldn't be able to do the kinds of things that we're called and meant to do to serve those around us. So this is a key pivot that a lot of us who come from more of that, mantra of, well, we just want to give, we just want to shine. We do have to think about this in the context of very specific metrics and numbers. So bear with me for a second. So to just underscore my point, I have another example. So this is about conversion rate. So what I mean by get paid more for your client conversation is to go, how can we fine tune and maximize and optimize each of your client conversations or each of your prospective client conversations? So this is a difference of 10% in conversion rate. Sounds little, not a ton, but we're talking about, in this case, 67 fewer people that client B has to hunt for and connect with and drive and nurture to a close. I don't know about you, but I'd rather do 67 fewer of those first sales interactions, right? I want to just win more, and so that I can deliver better and more to my clients and to those around me that I want to serve. So this is, again, two people, two clients. These are legitimate examples, slightly tweaked and anonymized. But similar, right? $100,000 for the year. They average about $2,500 in their deal size. So per client, they would net about a $2,500 service. And then, but yeah, again, just 10% tweak could make the difference. So people go, well, how do you do that, Sylvia? So numbers are great, but those are lagging indicators, as we would call it in the sales performance arena. And they're right. And of course, right. So how do we affect that? So there are many things we can do. However, these are the three that I see to be, I believe, most effective levers to pull. So the first is, and this is a common one, and this happens even in the best of the best, is we have to plan for success in our calls. What that means is we have to work backwards from the outcome. So most people are great at thinking about how to start a call, how to build rapport, how to be liked, et cetera, et cetera. So the 30-second commercials, really important, right? As we enter into a space with somebody who's less familiar with us. However, what most people forget is how to exit the stage or what we want to leave the prospect with 5 minutes after, or what we want them to think about at the dinner table with their spouse or with their, children or friends after the fact. And so working backwards to go, what is that outcome that I want to generate and co-create together? And how can I guide the conversation and the partnership, in this case, the conversation partnership, to that outcome? And that does take some planning. There are some things that we all can do to ever make that more habitual and a little bit more effortless. But it does start with acknowledging that we can't just come in and wing it. And not to say that we do that, but there are times when, we've been taught to just show up with bravado and personality and our brilliance. All that's great. All that needs to be there. I'm just saying that, and I'm counseling my clients to take it a step further. The second piece is a little bit more intricate, and yet the overall macro idea is key. And again, it's something that I see even people who've been doing this for a really long time falter at times. So it's this idea of qualifying, disqualifying better and faster. So what that means is we have to be very discerning about whether somebody could be a potential client. And again, this goes beyond just, us ticking the box, like on a list of criteria for our champagne or platinum clients, right? We actually have to, in the conversation, discern probably in the first 5 to 10 minutes, whether this person would be a potential client. So in that conversation that we're leading, especially for the first time, and many of us have intake forms already, and that's great, yet we still want to have some way of qualitatively discerning for ourselves in our minds whether this person will become a paying client. Better yet, if they're going to be a great paying client, but at the baseline, at least figure out if they're going to be a working paying client in this case. And there are many things we can do to affect that. Yet this idea of disqualifying scares a lot of people because of, again, the fear of missing out. That idea of, well, I don't want to say no to somebody I don't want to not have a client. Yet I will say that bad clients or unfit clients actually cost us a lot more in time, energy, our soul even. In terms of, again, that alignment that we need to generate brilliance. So more on that as we talk, or think about that as we talk, and I'll invite questions at the end here shortly. The last but not least, in terms of the how-to of increasing your effectiveness and get paid more, Lily, for your client conversations, is to reduce friction of how people can do business with you. So I recently coached a new entrepreneur, and she had so many great ideas of like, oh, I want people to, not only talk to me, but then like go to a webinar and try out my session and then do this and that, and then sign on. Well, I don't know about you, but like I kind of got a little bit anxious of hearing like, well, I don't want to do that many steps to get answers to my problems, right? I want answers to my problems, period. And I would imagine her clients would feel the same way. And then again, that's a drastic example just to punctuate the point that a lot of times we forget that our end goal is to enable that partnership between us and our potential clients. So again, even something as small as, how quickly can you set somebody up for service? So if you have, for example, some sort of tech-enabled service component, something other than, us literally planning something on the calendar, whatever that is, think about how frictionless that is. So you don't want someone to have to wait for days to be able to sign on, or fill out 7 pages of whatever to sign on. So really think about where can you reduce some of the noise and friction to enable someone to actually go, hell yeah, I want to start today. I want to start right now. Another quick way to think about this notion of how do we maximize more of our conversations with potential clients is this construct that I often use is, do we have the skill to affect the conversation, right? And most of us think we do, yet there's always, right, room for improvement. Even for me, I do this, I teach this, and I still go, what can I do to ever get better? Literally reach Olympian levels in performance in this area. So think about your skills. There's also will. I think all of us are pretty willing to want to see our business grow. Yet it's the minutia things, right? Do we have the will to really dig into building a habit that's consistent and healthy? There's also the hill part. Hill part is the roadblocks, the obstructions, the operational things that most of us probably don't like doing. So if hill is a problem, so for example, I had a client who recently shared that she really didn't like building sales collateral. Well, first of all, her idea of sales collateral was actually not quite aligned to what was needed to generate success. And also there are people she could outsource that to, right? There are people who are great at building these things with the right kinds of strategic thought partnership. So again, that was a hill that seemed insurmountable at the time, yet again, with the right thought partner, with a little bit of nudging and a little bit of clarity as to like how it doesn't have to be that way, we were able to reduce the hill and hopefully entirely remove it at some point. But yeah, think about what are those things that just feel, kind of overwhelming, exhausting. You don't have to be stuck with those. So there are plenty of ladies on this call who can help with those hills. So really think about your game plan, especially in context of your conversations, how to grease, right, and lubricate in a way towards that end desirable outcome about generating and co-creating a partnership. So that's all I have for today. I would love to have questions and feedback and comments from a couple of you. So I won't call anybody unless we're completely quiet. So I'll turn it over to volunteers.
You want to stop your share and we'll get the gallery back up so you can see. Thank you, Sylvia. That was a fantastic presentation. And I love that you mentioned discernment as it relates to your clients. I think a lot of entrepreneurs that I have coached, especially at the beginning of your business, or when you're feeling like that feast and famine mode, is that you don't discern who you should be working with. And then you end up with somebody who doesn't value or doesn't want to compensate you appropriately. So I appreciate that. Robin says she has a question.
Yes, I just saw that. Hi, Robin.
Oh.
I always forget to unmute myself. I do have a question for you, Sylvia. So as you were talking, the one thing that came to mind is I spend a lot of time on discovery calls, right? Really getting, and it's like a free brand assessment as we start working together. And I know so much about the person by the time I actually have a conversation with them. So I've discerned whether or not they're a good fit for me and I can help them, but also what their energy level is and how much energy they're willing to put into their business. But here's my question for you. Do you charge for discovery calls and then apply that fee to the fee when they sign with you? I know some entrepreneurs do that, and then that gets the person more invested in the time they spend with you and more likely to take action. And then also when you apply that fee to your higher fee for the actual program you're offering, they're in. What are your thoughts on that?
I have two thoughts on that, Robin. Great question. So again, the first thing I always do is like, how, and it does this offering cannibalize, right, my other higher ticket offering? So the first question is always this balance of, does this cannibalize or does this add, does this actually help grease the wheel, so to speak? So that's my first like point of tinkering even. So, you know, without knowing everything behind kind of your portfolio of business, that's my gut reaction first. Is like, how does this actually add, or, you know, would this somehow cannibalize? I don't know yet. But the second thought is, I always think about how to be brain friendly, right, for clients. So when we're asking for our clients or potential clients to do things, we're actually asking them to shift a behavior. We need to elicit a behavior, and one at a time is the key to success. So when we're asking for too many things, people start to literally get overwhelmed cognitively. So in this case, right, so what I do is usually in the 6 to 7 figures. So, right, but like, I'm not going to come out the gate to go, can you give me $500,000, right? Most people are like, hell no. Who are you again? But if I ask, right, basically, hey, can we enter into a 20-minute conversation where I can give you some insights about where you can optimize your revenue generating footprint? Right, just 20 minutes, and I have a quick assessment, right? It's 9 questions. Love to show you what you can do right away, or your team can do right away to affect better outcomes. Now, most people can go, okay, I do have 20 minutes, I think, to at least learn something that could help me do better. And, you know, and then my next question usually is, how's next Tuesday at 2 o'clock, right? Like give them a time to think about, go like, can you talk this time? But it's like one at a time, if that makes sense. So to me, if my end goal is this massive sort of, you know, monetary figure, then I need to have something that's easy for them to say yes to. So in your case, if it's easy for them to say yes to an assessment, right, that they can walk away with, like having some really great insights around, and you're okay with like the relationship potentially ending there, like you go, well, you know, they got what they needed, I got what I needed. That was a great exchange. Awesome. If not, right, for either side, then there's room for tinkering. Does that help?
Yeah, and I can absolutely validate that there is a win-win with a discovery call. Like every single person walks away with a handful of things that they could actually implement, even if it's as simple as, you know, tweaking an Instagram bio or something like that. But do you recommend charging for that if you know there's value there, or would you not charge for that and not? Do you know what I'm saying? Like if they come in and say these are all hypothetical figures, but say I said, okay, schedule a discovery call, and you'll walk away with, you know, tips to apply to your business that are going to improve, you know, your visibility as an entrepreneur.
Maybe it's a nomenclature thing for me. So when I hear discovery call, that's not a solution, right? Driven.
Or brand assessment, like what like it's called a brand assessment, but I was thinking, like, as you were talking, I was thinking of the general term discovery call.
Totally. So again, I think if you can drive your pipeline, right, of potential clients to this paying, so this is essentially an entry level, I call it entry level service, right, to get them that your you know, those assessment takers towards more, right, to more work with you, so that in it of itself, that's not technically a discovery call. So that would be like, I think if it's, again, like you said, there's lots of value that you're delivering, So again, think about what you're putting out, right? Like if you're putting out like great stuff, like people walk away with so much, absolutely charge for that, right?
Okay.
So,
That was
but
my
like,
question. Like, I never know, like, how much should we give away for free before we bring them in as a client? And so, you know, when you spend 30 to 60 minutes on an assessment and you're giving them all this information, they're walking away with so much from you, but you've actually gotten nothing unless they sign. And so, I mean, you know, most of the time they sign, but in those instances, they don't. I just wondered what your philosophy was with that. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. I know that was kind of a long answer to a short question. Yes, a really important one. So that comes down to, again, like some people are going like, well, I literally give away 60-minute coaching calls. So I'm going to flip this around right to the other side. Some people literally go, I'm going to give away 60-minute coaching calls and hope, right, that they will love my brilliance and my mind so much that they're going to sign on. Well, hope's not a strategy. So first and foremost, and second of all, most people, if you teach them to take from you, they will take.
Absolutely.
Right? Like that's literally like you telling like my time is free. Right? In this case. Now it's different to go, I want to have a 30-minute conversation, truly a discovery call to go, is there a fit here, right? Between what you're struggling with or wanting to work on and what I have to bring to bear. And there are absolutely proof points we have to bring, right? Especially if we're selling an intangible service or a sort of advisory type service. We have to bring those proof points, but that's different, right? Like we've packaged a 30-minute discovery call to ensure there's mutual exchange of quid pro quo, of like me asking from the person what you got going on and really assess like and use the questions accordingly to go, is there a fit here? And they in turn are also there to assess, is there anything here that I should be, or I would want to be co-creating with this person on, right? But
Yeah,
in your
and
case,
it's
like,
more a gathering of information versus giving tips and tools
correct.
that they can walk away from. So there's a completely different psychology to that call.
100%. So again, right, like, you know, it's a balancing act always, right? So that discernment again of like, what are we driving this to? And yeah, and if again, there's also the psychology and what I call mindset, right? There are some people who are afraid to charge. That's a different story entirely. But in your case, it sounds like this is a really legitimate service, right? As part of your portfolio to help people. Now, so if you were to tell me, Sylvia, you know, I don't love that I'm charging and then people drop off, then that's a different story, right? If they go, well, you know, I have a bunch of these people who do the assessment at $300. This is like, you know, for example, but then like, I want them to be $3,000 clients. Now, then we got to reconfigure, right? So because that entry point is no longer an entryway, it's just now the party. And if that's not the party you want people to be with you at, then we gotta retool some things, package it differently, communicate it differently, invite differently. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to move us over to announcements now. Thank you, Robin, for that excellent question. I think a lot of us gained a lot of knowledge from that. So we're going to announcements just like we did last week to keep our announcements very succinct. I'm asking that you either announce something you need to help promoting or an ask, or a shout out. If you want to do more than that, then please use the chat box for the additional information, but a verbal announcement, either referral ask or a shout out, and we can finish up by 9 a.m. Eastern. So I will go first and then I'll have Sylvia go because she probably wants to take a breather for a second. Just want to say hello to our members who couldn't attend today. Jennifer, Ann asked for some good energy. If y'all could send Ann some good energy. Susan, Shelton, Tracy, and Hannah, sending love to all of you. Just another reminder as well, we have a Love and Learn party on Wednesday, February 10th at 10 a.m. Please make sure you can attend if you're available. And we will not be meeting on that Friday, which is the 12th. That's it for my announcements. So Sylvie, if you'd like to go, and then Laura Templeton after that.
Thank you, ladies, for your contributions today to our discussion. I'm very active on LinkedIn, or at least in 2020 I was anyway. But so if you want to connect further or have further questions or just want to see what I write about in the area of sales performance and leadership, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm going to put my link here momentarily. Also, I, for the month of January, have been sharing out my 30-day LinkedIn content prompt planner to help those of you who want to dive into that realm and that platform a little bit more to see about and exploring if and how that platform could generate more leads or potential connections for you, happy to share that. So I'll drop my LinkedIn link, profile link momentarily here. So feel free to connect with me there. Thanks for your time.
Awesome, Sylvia. Laura, then Judy.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Margaret Martin. She was lovely enough to introduce me to my phenomenal realtor down in the Madeira Beach area, and she helped us find our home in Bradenton. So we are going to be making settlement this month and then moving next month. So we'll soon be Florida residents permanently. Super excited about that. Also, Love and Learn is February 10th. If anybody wants to make a donation for some door prizes for that, that's great. Kate has generously offered to be our speaker. She's going to be talking about it's not mindset, it's energetics. So it's a very interesting topic with Kate. So I'm excited about that. And I'd love to see all of your faces there. Make sure that you're inviting friends. So Wednesday, February 10th at 11 a.m. Eastern time.
10 a.m.
Did I? Oh, 10 a.m. I'm so used to saying 11. Thank you.
There you are.
Thank you. I'll make sure I make the graphic properly, right?
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Judy, then Suzanne in the mask.
So I have gotten 2 of 4 postcards from Mary Beth in the last 2 weeks for my troublesome cats. And this has been a great way to learn new things each week and figure out something else to try with them. So thank you, Mary Beth. We're still making progress. Very hopeful. Pulling in my energy. It seems to be working.
Yay! That's awesome, Judy.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Suzanne, then Stacy.
So I wanted to give a shout out to Judy because we did a session last August and I started a diet right after that. I worked with her on all of my shit that goes on with, food and my mother and all that. And I've lost 38 pounds. And here's the thing, it's been easier than ever. And part of that is the system that I chose. But part of it is that whatever she did to me, it's like working. I don't understand it, but I'll take it. So thank you, Judy.
Congratulations, Suzanne. That's amazing. Good for you.
Thank you.
Stacy, then Kelly.
I don't have any announcements today, but I am looking forward to next week. I have a few things lined up with a few of you, so I'll have some shares after that.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Stacy. Kelly, then Rachel.
My primary announcement is be watching for February when I am going to do my practical strategies to boost your immune system course again. Revised a little bit from the last time, but giving the opportunity for you to boost your immune system to make sure that it's working properly instead of just assuming a vaccine is going to fix it all. Enough said. Thanks.
All right, Kelly, thank you. Rachel, then Susan Driscoll.
Thanks for that talk, Sylvia. That was awesome. I really like that you spoke about reducing friction. That's something I've worked on last year, and it's one of the things that clients always rave about in my process is the things that I've tweaked on that. So thank you. My shout out is for Debbie Keeven. I went along to her write-in yesterday and it was awesome to have a container of creation, and I got all of my posts written for next week. So killing it.
Awesome. Love this. Susan, then Mary Beth.
Yeah, Sylvia, thank you. I loved your presentation. So many, like something for every step of the process. So thank you. I had an awesome virtual coffee with Hannah the other day that I was so inspired by and got lots of good information from. And I'm looking to have more virtual coffees with you. So I'm going to put my link in the chat.
Awesome. Thanks, Susan. Mary Beth and Debbie.
Sylvia, I also have to say thank you so much. I could, I'm literally hear the wheels spinning. Maybe I need a little grease there after 2020, but they're moving. So thank you so much. There's a good thought process going on there. I would like to invite everybody, if you like animals, that's the first thing. I've got friends who don't have animals and I still love them. But if you do, I'd love to have you join my email list this week. Probably because of Jill and Debbie, I am sharing a story called "Hurting Animals Haunts Me," and that's as loud as I've ever gotten in print. So that's going to be today's blog. I'm scared as I speak it. This is so funny. I thought I moved through everything, but I'll give you a link if you'd like to join up. One side note, if you do and you see the beautiful free offer, Hannah is the person who made that gift that I give people, the 5 things your pets want to know. Hannah designed that for me. So
awesome.
Okay.
Yay!
Thank you for listening.
Congratulations on getting louder. Debbie, then Connie Joe.
There's so many of you that I'd love to thank, but today I'm going to give a shout out to Kate. Kate introduced me to someone she met, and it was a wonderful introduction to someone, a woman of color who has a most fascinating story. She's by country, I guess is the way she words it. And she has just a really fascinating story. So I'm really hoping that she'll join my June cohort. But thank you, Kate, for thinking of me. And I'll put something in the chat. I'll put it in the chat. Thanks. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Debbie. Connie Jo, then Margaret.
Well, first of all, Sylvia, thanks for sharing your brilliance with us today. That was really a wonderful presentation. I got some good notes. And then I want to invite all of you to come next week. I'm going to be the speaker, and I promise it's going to be fun.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Stay tuned.
All right. Love it. Margaret, then Laura C.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Sylvia. That was such a great presentation. I took copious notes, so thank you. I greatly appreciate it. And Laura Templeton, I'm so happy that working with Cindy worked out so well, and she is awesome. So if you need a realtor in Florida, in the Tampa Bay area, yeah, I've got the best connection. Just no announcements other than I'd love to have coffee, wine, or whatever, or tea. So hit me up. My information's in the chat. Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good week.
Laura, then Sherry.
Yes. Thank you so much, Sylvie, once again. I realized the beginning of what you discussed of the checking on the limited beliefs was the perfect setting for myself, because that's where I love to start, my mindset. Because once my mindset is in the right direction, everything else opens up to tip 2, 3, and all of it. So really great of sharing that. I thank you for that. Great presentation. No new announcements on my end, no new ones. However, I'm still looking for more coffee dates with you. So I will put my information in the chat, and everyone have a great weekend.
Awesome. Thanks, Laura.
You're welcome.
Sherry, then Kate.
So thank you, Sylvia, so much for the presentation. I took several notes and I'm happy for the extra information. For today, I don't have an announcement, I have a request. And that is on my Facebook Live this week, I announced my plan to try to get at least 250 websites with privacy policies on them that don't currently have them for the year. So that is a huge goal for me. And in order to make that happen, I need to get my privacy policy workshop online as an on-demand course. So I've said I'm going to do that in February, and I'm asking all of you to hold me accountable to make sure that happens.
Awesome. Thank you, Sherry. Kate, then Robin.
All right. Thank you, Sylvia. My favorite slide was the ROI one. Very like, come on, let's get realistic on this. There's only so much attention and energy. So thank you. My ask is that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. In February, I will be going ham, doing videos, energetics in business, trusting the process, and creating new patterns. So the link's in the comments.
Awesome. Thanks, Kate. Robin.
Yes, thank you, Sylvia. That was absolutely great. I really enjoyed the enjoyed your presentation. I don't really have a big ask or anything like that today, but I will tell you something a little exciting. I launched the 100th episode of the Second Phase podcast yesterday, and my kids interviewed me. So it's a totally different type of interview, but if you want to get to know a little of the inside scoop about me and my life as a mom, I'll put the link in the chat box. It's just kind of lighthearted and fun, something totally different than the normal branding conversations that we have. So thought I'd share that.
Congratulations, Robin. And Debbie was looking for podcasters. Maybe you two could connect. That's it, ladies. Look at the time. I am so proud of all of you. Thank you so much for helping me get this meeting done in an hour. I really, really appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Get loud, and I'll see you all next week. Mwah. Take care, everybody.